So, hey, it's 4:20 a.m. Hi, and welcome to a special Wheel of the Year Litha edition of the Stoned Witches Hour. I'm Layla.
And I'm high smoking the Litha weed shell.
And who doesn't love summer weed? It's so good, so abundant, so green, so tasty, such high THC content.
I'm just high. That's all I know.
That's my stuff and shove, girl.
Isn't that how we start up every episode? I'm just really high.
That's pretty true. I mean, we do kind of do every single episode. We get blazed first and talk about a lot of shit. And then we remember, oh, right, we have to record. And by that time, we're usually pretty baked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
happens.
does. It's fun.
I guess that's kind of our appeal. We're just like middle-aged stoner people.
Yeah, Gen X stoners rambling about witchcraft, weed, and weirdness every Wednesday.
Wow, that's all W's. Did you ever notice that?
I did just now.
It's witchcraft.
Today, the Stoned Witches Hour is presenting a special Wheel of the Year episode, Litha 2022.
The next notch on the wheel of the year.
That's right. Chelle's next notch. This is Midsummer or summer solstice. This is the longest day and shortest night of the year. And some people say that this is when the dark half of the year begins, the light half ends, and the dark begins to get longer. And this is when the consort of the pregnant goddess, the Oak King, gives way to the Holly King. And so now she's got the daddy, she's got the DILF, she's got the mature man to be there, and she's ready to go into the dark half of the year with someone a little more mature and a little less capricious than the dude that she got pregnant with back on Beltane.
I'm just pissed I have to work. I don't wanna. It's like the longest day. I should be at the beach. I should be celebrating the solstice, but I will be working part of the day as a good citizen of the world, and then we'll be celebrating after that.
Yeah, unfortunately, not everyone recognizes the summer solstice as the wonderful holiday that it is. Should be federally recognized. I mean, come on, everything is so lush and abundant and beautiful. Who doesn't want to just go outside? It's not screaming hot yet. It's not cold. It's just perfect. I love it.
And, honestly, there are actually, we can't always say this about some of the pagan holidays, some of the Sabbats, but this is another one where like cultures all around the world celebrate it in some form or fashion. It's just somehow weird because pagans call it Litha, I guess.
It's one of those big celestial holidays that's easy to see, and so our ancestors marked time based on this. This is, again, the longest day.
Actually, like a big place to celebrate the summer solstice, which one day before I die, I am doing this. And for any of our listeners that are across the pond, you might think I am crazy for this being like a bucket list thing. Stonehenge is the place to be on the summer solstice. I have heard that it's not all it's cracked up to be. I still want to go. I still want to see like the way the stones are set up. The sun like shines right through certain points of it. So actually, there's always every year big, huge gatherings at Stonehenge. That's like a big place to be, I guess, to celebrate the solstice in one. I mean, the Litha is another holiday where bonfires are a big thing. I love
I do
fires.
too.
There's something about fires that I love, but it kind of gives that battle of light and dark. But fires are also just cool.
It's true. Who doesn't love dancing around a bonfire? I mean, you kind of got to love that. It's so much fun.
It really is. And, there's something to be said for just being high and staring into a fire, even if you're not dancing.
For sure. And speaking of, I'm going to get high, Chelle. And one of the other things that Litha and the summer solstice are known for are the Fae.
Yeah.
I think I might have some interesting stories for you, Chelle. And so we're going to play a little game of, is it a ghost or is it the Fae? And
Oh, shit.
yeah. So why don't you pack yourself a bowl and I'm going to tell you some fun little stories about the place I'm currently staying.
I'm smoking GG4 this week. Good choice, by the way.
Love GG4. Love, love, love. Oh my goodness. I'm smoking gorilla cookies.
Ooh, close.
Yeah, close. Very similar. And I don't know what this honey is infused with, but I'm also going to be eating this 100 milligrams of THC infused honey stick.
That'll be delicious.
A little honey for summer. I always love honey to represent like the sun and the summer solstice. And it's just anything with honey in it. Honey cake. I just love it all.
I figured I'd finish this pipe I got packed right now, but then surprise, surprise, I actually have a 1 gram pre-roll of super lemon haze, another fave.
Ooh.
So I got this little pre-roll that I'll be jamming on here shortly as well.
Well, Happy Chick called this, oh man, what was it? We call it a salad. They called it, had a bad word in it. It was wasn't smorgasbord. It was something else. It was like
I still say salad.
So yeah, whenever they're done with all their top shelf buds and trimming, they take all the little teeny tiny buds that are left, mix them all up together, grind them. And that's what they put in these. I forget what they call them, joints, but they hard hitters, really good and very tasty. Nothing beats a salad, really.
Those are the best ones. You know, I do that with keef. When I grind up weed, I'll just keep the keef in a big container. And my boyfriend will say, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's my salad keef. It's a salad."
I also salad my keef as my infamous breakout box that has the keef strainer on the bottom.
All I think about is the time you dumped it on the rug.
I know, so sad, so sad. I have not dumped it since then, just so everyone knows. I do continue to break out my weed inside it because it has a screen bottom. And so all the keef transfers down to this little tiny tray, also held on by magnets, that we just kind of pull out. And I don't separate that. You know, we do keep one type of weed in there at a time, but the keef at the bottom just kind of, we just let it pile up. Salad keef. It's fabulous. All right. So Chelle, I've got some stories for you.
Do tell. Do tell.
And at the end of this, I need you to tell me ghost or fairy infestation.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So I stayed here in this particular location a few months ago for about a week. And during that time, I had 2 incidences that kind of bugged me.
Like good bugged you or just annoyed bugged you?
Annoyed bugged me.
Keep going.
The first one, okay, so everyone has masks nowadays, right?
Oh, I hate masks.
Yeah. And I have a mask that I was using. It's a really nice one. And I would always put it in the same place with my keys every time. Take my mask off, keep it with my keys. Well, I go to the store, happen to be visiting with my mother and my brother at the time, and the mask is not there. It had been that morning, and we go to leave that afternoon and it's gone. Not anywhere to be found. We searched everywhere. We looked in the car. We looked throughout the whole house. We couldn't find it.
And you're a pretty organized person. If you
I'm relatively organized.
It's generally where you know you left it.
I have ADHD. I lose things. So I've gotten in the habit of things have a place. Everything has a home. So I know where it is. Otherwise, my stoned ADHD ass is going to lose it all. So I knew I'd put it there. Wasn't there. Grabbed a different mask, go to the store, come back. The next morning, I go with my brother in his car. My mask is in his car. I hadn't been in his car at all. He hadn't taken it. He was just as shocked as I was. He's like, "Is this your mask?" And he pulls it off the dash. I'm like, "Yeah, it is. How the hell did it get in your car?" No one knows.
And like, you don't have like little kids with you. So it's not
No.
like someone's tricking around with you. Like you're with all like adults.
Exactly. It was just me and my adult family. I was not here with my kids who are teenagers, also not small children. So we're like, okay, whatever. Someone must have moved it, I guess, and forgotten. So we go on with our lives. A couple days later, I'm missing a credit card.
Oh, that pissed me off.
I was really pissed off. Again, I knew exactly where it was because, again, I have to be organized or I lose shit. So I knew it was on top of the dresser where I had my money. I had my money, my change, and my credit cards. Because I don't always travel with all of my credit cards and ID. Sometimes I'm a stick it in my pocket person.
That's always driven me crazy about you, by the way.
I know. So I have them right there so I can grab whatever credit card or money I need for the particular trip. That particular credit card was not there, was not anywhere to be found.
I would have been heated. I would have been
Oh,
angry.
I was so angry. I thought I must have lost it at the store. I had to have lost it at the store.
That makes you want to like call the credit card company and
Everything was bad. It was under the bath mat in the guest bathroom.
huh?
I don't know. I don't know. That's where it was. So that incident, the two of them together kind of made me go, this is a little weird. These are not normal places where you would think if you had lost something that they would end up.
But where you're staying is a very old place. So honestly, can you really sit here and ask me for my surprised face?
No, you can't. So, and that's why I'm saying it could be ghostly activity. This house was built in the 1920s, and several people have passed away in it. Several owners have died in this house.
So you're currently back in this house. What's going on?
Now I'm staying here with my whole family. The first incident was I have a credit card that has a very small limit on it. And it's the one that I let my kids use if they need to go somewhere shopping and I'm not going with them. It's kind of my safe credit card, right?
Mom, I want something on Amazon.
Right. So I give them the tiny limit credit card. So I give her my safe credit card. She goes over to where her computer is. I see her set it on the table next to her computer and I go off and do something else. She comes up to me a few minutes later and says, Mom, did you take that credit card? And I'm like, no, I saw you set it down. Are you done with your purchase? And she says, no, I didn't get to do it because the credit card's gone. And I said, I saw you set it right there. Your sister was there. Did she take it? And she said, no, she saw me set it there too. We can't find it. We tore the whole house upside down. She was in tears. She was so upset that she had lost this credit card.
Because this poor kid is probably thinking that you thought she took it and she's probably panicking.
Yeah, she's so sensitive. I trust her. Honestly, I trust her with all my money, but she was panicking. We looked everywhere. We couldn't find it. We flipped furniture up and down. We looked under rugs.
Nobody left the house.
Nobody left the house. Nobody had gone anywhere.
So it's not like it could have like accidentally gotten lost in the driveway. Like it's there.
Had to be in the house.
Where did you find it?
The next morning, my husband's getting the dishes to make breakfast. It was in the sink in the dishes.
Are you shitting me?
I am not. There's more.
I can just see his face right now, and I can see him just being like, Layla, what the fuck? Holding the credit card wet, dripping with soap in his hand. What the fuck, Layla?
My husband is a witch.
But he was probably taken aback a minute.
Yes, he is a very practical, very scientific man.
And that doesn't make sense to him.
This made no sense, did not compute.
And your kids were probably blaming each other. She did it.
Actually, they don't do that. They're like best friends. They would stick up for each other. If my eldest said that the card had been there and walked off on its own, the youngest would back her up 100%.
Apparently, that is exactly
what happened. Right out from under both of their noses.
What's next?
A couple days later, I am trying to find, I wanted to remember the birthday of we got a stray cat back in December. He kind of ran to our house. It was one of those few days in California where it was definitely getting below freezing at night. And this cat, when my daughter came home from work, ran right up to her and my husband, wanted in. He was so sweet. And so we let him in our garage for the night, took him to the vet the next morning, and he had a chip. So we were so happy. We're like, yay, contact his people. They never responded. They didn't respond to the vet. They didn't respond to the chip company. Oh, here he comes now, my little sweet boy.
And for all of our listeners out there, if you'd like to go back to episode 1 and 2, where Layla talks about this cat and says she plans on not keeping it, then you can go listen to that episode, then fast forward to now.
I would never say that. He is my boy. I would never, ever say that.
Let's take this back to episodes 1 and 2, where Layla says this was a temporary assignment.
I'm sure I never said that. Never, never. So they didn't respond. And
that's sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But so I had this paperwork from the chip company so that we could transfer the chip without permission from the previous owners, because it had been months and we kept trying to contact them.
They probably changed their phone number, to be real.
There were 2 different emails and 2 different phone numbers, and they didn't respond to any of them.
I was trying to be hurtful.
I tried that too, but I stopped a long time ago. And
Yikes.
hey, yeah, whatever. But he's ours now, and he's the chip is transferred anyway. So I was looking for the paperwork. I had made sure when we left to bring it with us, because when you're traveling with animals, you want to make sure you have all their paperwork, right? So I'm looking for this paperwork because I know it has his date of birth on it, and I was like, it's July something. So I'm looking, I go through all our paperwork. I go through the table, the desk, everywhere. And I'm like, I can't find it. It's around somewhere. I'll find it later. So my husband starts packing a bowl and he goes, hey, and he picks up a random piece of paper that neither of us had seen, unfolds it, opens it up. It's the fucking paperwork for my cat. There hadn't been paper. It like randomly appeared on the table. We had just gone over every single paper on that table. How the fuck did it get on that table? I have no idea.
In front of your face? Did either of you leave the table?
No.
Like, did this just appear in front of your face?
Pretty much. It was kind of like his laptop was on the table and a bunch of our smoking paraphernalia. And I guess it was I was standing and I should have been able to see it. But he hadn't noticed it before until he reached to grab the bong and pack it. And he's like, oh, hey, there's a piece of paper here. Opens it up, and it happens to be the exact paper I had just been looking for.
So it seems like they have up to this point been taking things from you, your credit cards, your face mask. Now they're giving you something.
Yes.
There's a new twist. So you said you had one more thing. What else happened? Is this a give or a take?
It's both. They took and then they gave, kind of like with the credit card and the face mask. So this particular time, the whole families were going to go on a sightseeing adventure, right? And so we gather up all our stuff, and one of the things I grab is my glasses. So I have my glasses on top of my head. I get in the car and we go on down the road and we're talking, and go to put my glasses on and they're no longer on my head. And I'm like, did I take my glasses off of my head? Did I put them in my bag? Like, did anyone see my glasses? And youngest child says, yes, they're on your head. I said, no, they're not. And she's like, I just saw them. And I'm like, I did too, but now I can't find them. So I search in my seat. I search everywhere in the car, my bag, the glove box, the kids look under the seats. Can't find my glasses anywhere. So I figure maybe I dropped them somehow, but my youngest saw them on my head. I knew they were on my head. Whatever. I let it go. The next day, I'm unpacking a suitcase of things I have not worn since we left California to travel. And I'm pulling out some shirts and talking to my husband and putting them away. And I pull out a sweatshirt that I have not worn in weeks. In the pocket of that sweatshirt that I just pulled out of a suitcase that I have just opened for the first time after having packed it, and in the pocket of that sweatshirt are my glasses.
No shit.
No shit.
Okay.
I flipped out. My husband's like, well, is that the one that it took to make you believe it? I'm like, yeah, that's the one.
I already have a judgment here.
All right. What's the judgment?
I think you have a new friend, and I think that friend is of the fairy persuasion, because I know this is going to sound so silly to people who aren't like witchy people, but I just don't see a ghost following you in your car.
Yeah,
like they
I
got
agree.
better shit to do. Like your ghost is going to sit at home and wait for you to get back. Take your credit card and move it around the house. Okay, you could be still riding the ghost line, but things are happening away from your house when you're not on your property. And I think you just have a little face spirit just following you around. You got a new friend.
I think this house has a lot of fae activity, and it's that kind of trickster, fun, annoying.
You're the type that it's gonna attach to.
I blame that time that I played Queen Mab. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
I blame that time. I just got chills about it. But thankfully, it does not seem to be bad. And I know the rules. I don't give them my name, not my true name, just a nickname. And I don't say thank you. When they give stuff back, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy this is returned. Or what a wonderful thing to have happened. You don't say thank you to the fae. That's one of the big rules.
Are you leaving them anything?
Yes, absolutely. So we've left weed out back. We've left milk and cookies and honey, all things that I think that they like.
Now, how about leaving them a little squirt of that little infused honey stuff for
Oh,
you?
oh, now I have to. Thanks,
I
Shell.
put it
Thanks,
out
Shell.
there.
Now I got to put a drop out for the Fae
I put it out there. Sorry.
of my infused honey. Okay. I have left a little drop here. So,
That might save you a credit card incident.
right.
Definitely not a ghost. The reason I say that is because it's happening when you're like the car incident, put it over the edge, not a ghost.
And I also say because of the time of year. Now, I know it was earlier in the spring when I was first out here and there were some things that happened, but Litha is a known time for the Fae to be out and about and causing all sorts of mischief. It's one of the things that this particular holiday is known for. So, like Shell said, maybe leave a little gift of food outside, maybe some flowers, a little bit of honey, maybe a little bit of what you're smoking, something. Don't say thank you, but something to show that you appreciate them, and that you're sharing space with them and that you're willing to hang out.
Sometimes that acknowledgement is all it takes to stave off some bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. I also think one of the things I love to do, me, I like to garden, not just weed, but also flowers and herbs and things like that. And I do love to build fairy houses. They're a lot of fun, especially if I have some pottery from a garden thing that I broke, because who doesn't break, your garden shit, what are those called? Pots.
Pot, Layla, pot.
I forgot the word pot. Garden pots, break the ceramic garden pots and use those to make little fairy houses, use bark, use small little things around the house. But they're a lot of fun. And my kids and I used to like to gather bark and pine cones and leaves and make pretty little fairy houses outside.
You're way too crafty, man. I
like
saying.
to make things. I like to make things. I know I'm kind of a dork that way, but it's one of the things that I get solace in. I have a lot of fun, and it soothes me to make things. But also, as a time crunched mom, witch, weedy woman of the world, I can tell you that my Litha celebration this year is probably just going to be a barbecue in the backyard and smoking a lot of weed with my hubby under the stars as we watch the longest day finally set. Because who has time, really?
It's been a busy time. Been a busy time for me. I'll probably be doing something compact and short and sweet as well. But speaking of just kind of going out into nature and kind of having your ritual be soaking it all in, did you see that strawberry moon?
Oh my goodness, so gorgeous, so beautiful.
It was here in Massachusetts. It was huge, absolutely huge. And to watch it rise over the ocean, good shit, man. Good shit.
Just stunning. And this is the time of year that I love to be outside at night, camping in particular, anywhere you can, or even in my backyard, if that's all I can manage. But the full moon on an early summer night can't be beat. It's just lovely. It's just fabulous. Smoke a bowl with your honey, hang out with somebody that you love.
And get high.
Get high on some strawberry nana.
Oh my God. Is that stuff done growing yet?
Almost done curing. Probably next episode, I'll be smoking some straw nana that Chelle recommended and I grew. Oh, it's beautiful, Chelle. Beautiful.
Does it smell good? Does it look good?
It does. It smells sweet. It looks green. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I cannot wait to show you. You're going to love it.
See, I do have good ideas here, people. Even if it's weed, I have good ideas. They don't all my ideas don't revolve around getting spooked and getting in trouble and getting the shit scared out of you. Although a lot of them do.
Just your good ones. All my favorite ones do. Now, do you have any memories of Litha rituals? I remember this was one in our particular community that tended to be sparsely attended, mostly because people were going to different festivals and different things all around the country. And so our home group tended to get very small. And what I liked about these rituals was kind of the intimacy of it, the warmth, everyone kind of hanging out and sharing food. And we were small enough that we would just kind of sit in that field around the bonfire, maybe break bread and share a little bit of food before we did ritual. Sometimes we'd come up with it on the fly right there as the crickets and the birds are chirping and the sounds of summer are just kind of swelling all around us. And, those were really nice. I liked those.
I think some of the best memories of Litha that of rituals we've done. Really just kind of that, not even the rituals themselves, but just kind of that spending the whole weekend outside and that warmth and the fireflies. That's the one thing, you don't see fireflies until really Litha, at least
That's
in
right.
Northeast, East Coast woodland.
And that kind
So
of adds to the whole fairy atmosphere too.
it does. It definitely adds to the ambiance of it all. So, you're seeing those fireflies for the first time. And, I remember where the camping field was versus the ritual field, there was kind of this wooded pathway. And I remember we had like these, we called them fairy lanterns. Essentially, they were just like tea lights and colored cups.
Yeah, I think the red solo cups, only the
Colored.
clear different colored ones. If you put a little candle in there, you can make beautiful lights to line a path with. Very
You really
magical.
can. And you call it a fairy path, and damn it, it is.
It looks like one.
Remember, we had mirrors hanging from like tree branches, and just kind of, you're walking down this like colorfully lit path at night, this wooded path. You got this candle lights flickering off these mirrors, fireflies just kind of twiddling here and there and everywhere. Sometimes that right there is the ritual. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I completely agree. Just set and setting is so important. And I think that's one of the things I love about group rituals, because you can do so much to really get you in the space. And we've talked before about how you can be very high magic, mathematical and precise with ritual. And there is a place for that. And it has great power if you want to do it just by the right time and under the correct stars and using the perfect herbs and drawing the perfect sigils. But there's also power in intention, and set and setting is a huge part of that intention. If you can make your whole atmosphere geared towards the fullness and richness of summer, and that contentment that the goddess, who is full with child from Beltane, feels when she's with a god who is strong and steady and a partner to her and able to help carry this burden, rather than a young man who's kind of capricious and flighty and not ready for that task. You feel content in summer. You've done all this work and now it's really starting to blossom. People are pulling things from their garden and giving them to their neighbors. You're eating these fruits of the earth and you feel this abundance and this ripeness.
Sitting in a field making flower crowns and things like that. Like Litha is like the no pressure. You've got your planting season, your harvest season, the winter rough season. Litha is just kind of the sit back and enjoy every damn bit of it.
It's the hey, our coven did not come up with a Litha ritual, and we're all going to sit around and eat good food and pass this bowl around and come up with a ritual. And
Right.
honestly, looking back, that was fucking kick ass. That was perfect. It was perfect.
There were times way back in the beginning when we were a little more formal with our coven, but we did that whole battle of the Oak King and the Holly King, and
That was
that was
awesome.
great.
It
And
was fun.
remember we had them use real swords. That was pretty cool.
We did. That was a beautiful ritual. I loved seeing that played out. It was a really cool thing.
It was. And as much as that was great and very memorable, and it was a very play action kind of ritual, it's the times like walking down that path with those colored lights and those fireflies. Those are the things that resonate, not so much when we orchestrated a ritual and did the actual battle of the Oak King and the Holly King. Like that was cool and all, but what resonated was that walk down that path with those candles and the colored cups and the mirrors and the fireflies, walking barefoot down that path. That's what resonates with you.
Yeah. And to get technical, that's what sets your brain in the proper formation. That's what puts you in a magical state of mind in order to set your intentions, in order to do magic, in order to create a spell. You need to hypnotize yourself. You need to get your mind, your body, your soul, and everything all in alignment, all in this state of anything is possible. And when it's dusk and you're seeing those beautiful colored lights flickering down this gorgeous path, meandering through a dark forest that is safe and is filled with wonderful people, and there's happy voices chanting, and there's flickering torches at the other end where the bonfire is, and
don't forget the creek on the side of the path.
creek bubbling on the side of the path. All these things, all these people dressed in beautiful clothing, wearing wonderful jewelry that means something to them.
Drumming.
The drumming is so primal. All these things put you in a state where your intentions mean something. The energy you put out into the world has weight and meaning.
And that path was always also kind of considered a transition too, from kind of normal camping area, everyday area, transitioning into ritual space. So that path was also that transition. But for anybody who knows what I'm talking about, just to see and feel and sense all of this stuff as you're headed towards that was just, that's what I think of when I think of great Litha memories.
Same. And to recreate that at home, right now I'm disconnected from my normal group. And so I can't necessarily recreate that. But what I can do is set that in my home. There's incenses that I love that can put me in a meditative state because I've used them so many times for meditation or for ritual. So if there's something that you love the smell of, or if there's a candle that flickers, have you seen these new wooden wick candles? I love them. They flicker perfectly.
I have. They're actually pretty cool, by the way.
They're great. You get yourself a couple candles you love, an incense you love. Turn your lights off, wrap up in a blanket or something soft that you like. I don't know, just set the stage in your own home. Go to your backyard, go to a place where the moon shines perfectly. Set that up a little bit for yourself. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be very small. And smoke your weed, sit down with your pipe and do it with intention and think about the things that you have set in motion earlier this year, the things, you want that hot girl summer, you want that job this summer, you want that relationship, or the things that are going to come to fruition this summer. Think about those while you're smoking your joint and relaxing next to your candle.
Yeah. And you can also take a little bit of time and kind of meditate on the light and the dark going on within yourself and around you.
Oh, I love that battle between the Oak King and the Holly King, the young god and the old god within each of us. We all have that fight between capriciousness and responsibility.
And for some reason, this is like a big hand fasting ritual time. You'd think it'd be Beltane, but actually, statistically, more people get hand fasted at Litha.
I like that because Beltane's when you're fucking your brains out and you're checking each other out. Hormones are running rampant. You're running around. You're having a good time, and then as the season goes on,
settling.
You start to settle into it. You get more serious. Things start to be, hey, it was all fun and hormones at Beltane. Now it's serious. In the goddess's case, she's fully pregnant with a child, and hopefully not in your case, unless that's what you want. But the relationships have matured at this point, at least magically.
And also, not that because this is a whole nother podcast, but not that I'm an advocate necessarily of some heavy duty love magic, but this is also a time where people tend to do love magic.
I don't have a problem with love magic if it's love magic flirting. If it's love magic, you will fall in love with me, then don't do that shit. That's awful. That's just as bad as coercing someone.
Which, by the way, that's super shitty in a lot of levels, and it always backfires in your face. So the disclaimer is, don't do love magic, man. It's just let things happen. Those are the real loves.
Do self-love magic. Do I love myself? Do I'm happy with myself? This is a great time to do magic to help find love for yourself. It can also be to put it out there. Hey, if there's someone who is compatible with me and who would have not a specific person, but make a list of what you like. Oh shit.
Practical Magic. Remember on Practical Magic, that movie where she made a list of all the things she wanted in a guy, and then there he was.
Yes. And the petals floated down on him when he was a child. I loved that part.
That kind of love magic I'm down with, where you just, if the universe will bring me someone that I could totally, completely love, who would totally, completely love me. Okay, I'm down with that. But if you're doing rituals to make John Smith make him love you more than anything in the world, not cool.
Not cool. I've only ever done 2 love magic spells in my entire life. And one of them, I was with you, and it was this time of year. And the other one, I was I had just moved to the area. It was just before I met you, I believe. And so I had done this magic spell. Have you ever seen those origami boxes where you could make like a box out of paper?
Yeah.
I think it's called like a water bomb or something.
Yeah.
So what I had done is I'd taken a square piece of paper and I wrote all the things out that I was hoping for in a companion. And I tried to be pretty realistic, you know? And so I wrote qualities that I was hoping for in this perfect person for me and turned it into a box, an origami box. And as I'm in this ritual space, I filled it with my incense that I had chosen to do my love spell with. And one of the ingredients was ground hemp seeds. And I had done that because the marijuana plant, I think you have a deck where the 10 of cups.
It is the tarot of herbs or the herbal tarot. But yes, 10 of cups is the marijuana.
Yeah. 10 of cups is the marijuana card.
Yep.
And that was one of the things I was thinking about is I put these hemp seeds in there for stability, for earthiness, you know, for the groundedness of that. And for the happy family, the hemp 10 of cups, happy family card.
Happily ever after.
That's right. So ground hemp seed was one of the ingredients in the incense that I had put together. And I had this charcoal incense burner. So I took the whole paper that I had written my attributes on and turned into an origami square, do it, you know, ritually the whole time, the whole night. Like I said, sometimes high magic has a place. And so I put in all these herbs that were carefully selected and I set my paper with the herbs on it on top of the charcoal. And of course, tons of smoke, which I had expected and had prepared for. And so I'm doing my spell and this whole ritual and it's kind of burning nicely. And then all of a sudden that bitch exploded. Pow, pop, pow. And all I could think of was that maybe I hadn't ground the pot seeds enough or something because it kind of was exploding like seeds in a bowl.
Like popcorn.
Yeah, like popcorn. And so it kind of explodes all over the place. And I'm putting out embers everywhere. And I figure, well, that spell kind of fucking went up in flames, literally.
I feel like I know what relationship led to that.
I wasn't in a relationship at that time. I was just kind of looking for one. Maybe I had just ended the relationship you're thinking of. So I figured either it wasn't time or something was wrong with the spell. Fast forward a few years, as told in my Beltane episode, I had fallen in love at first sight with a gentleman that you had brought to our Beltane ritual.
Love him.
I do love him. He's wonderful. So we were going to do, all of us, a ritual, a big ritual actually. And to prepare for the ritual, we were doing a sweat. So we were going to a sweat lodge on this sacred land. And this new guy that I had been with since Beltane was with us. And you and I were walking down this path and I started picking some blossoms off the trees. I grabbed a few apple blossoms. I grabbed a few lavender blossoms. I got a couple other things. And as we were walking, I started to do a spell. And I remember you cautioned me, you're like, be careful. And I'm like, I know, I'm not doing a spell to trap him. This spell is not a love spell to hold him. This is a spell. If this is meant to be, let it work out. Help us to make it work. It was more of if this relationship is good for both of us, and if it's meant to be, help us make it work. And so I gathered these different flowers and a couple herbs from the path as we walked down to the sweat, and I mixed them together. And when we all went into the sweat, I put them in with on the coals, you know, with the sweat herbs as we all go through here. And so I had done this spell. And again, this type of love spell was not make him love me or make me love him. It was, if this is meant to be, if it is good for both of us, help it to work out. And so he jokes sometimes that he's still with me because I put a spell on him, but it wasn't really that kind of love spell. And you cautioned me, you saw what I was doing and you're like, hold on, this better not be a love spell. And I'm like, no, it's not that kind of love spell at all.
And I let you go because I figured you know what you were doing. But, you know, I've done the same. I actually, same thing. I've done it twice. And one time I'll admit it. I was trying to make somebody love me. And you said,
we've all thought it.
You said, and I remember you saying, yeah, should you be doing this? And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. And you let me go.
I did.
And in the end, it crashed and burned. And I think the love spell is probably what made it torturous and last so long.
Yeah, maybe if you hadn't done that, it might have ended a little cleaner or a little sooner. And that's unfortunately the price that you pay.
It's shitty when magic works, guys. So yeah, no, I tortured myself, been there, done that. You warned me,
Yeah.
I didn't listen. But good friend, you let me run my course.
Sometimes honestly, and I could have worked a little harder to stop you. I could have, but honestly, it wouldn't have worked because we know you.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
way I was going to stop you. And so sometimes in order to let Chelle do what needs to be done, you got to let her go. But I wouldn't be a good friend if I hadn't pointed that out to you. We're honest with each other.
But as that was crashing and burning, same thing. I kind of put it out there to the universe. I was just like, Jesus Lord, could I ever find
Is
something?
that really the God that you called? I mean, for a love spell, that's your first choice.
All right.
I mean,
verbiage
supposedly
here.
he did have a great relationship with Mary Magdalene, but other than
Right.
that, I don't think would be my choice for a love spell.
But no, I did put it out there that, it would be nice for something to actually be legitimate and work out for once. And sure as shit fell right on my lap immediately.
It's almost like,
But I wasn't directing it towards a person, which was my issue the first time. The first time, unfortunately, when you directed it at a person, you're just going to fuck yourself in the end, people. It's like using a Ouija board.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Like you warned your son in our super secret Gavin episode. If you, hold on, I'm packing a bowl and apparently I can't do two things at once. I'm stoned enough that I need to take all my concentration to pack this bowl of my gorilla cookies. Yummy gorilla cookies. Anything with gorilla in it always
Good
hits so
shit.
hard. Love that stuff.
I've got the GG4 right now, which is the Gorilla Glue. Yum. That's all I gotta say. Yum.
I heard that they call it GG now because the actual makers of Gorilla Glue were having an issue, which I guess I can't say I blame them. But I mean, oh, come on, really?
I mean, honestly, you're either talking about glue that's going to stick something together for all eternity or marijuana. How do you confuse those things?
Right.
They're obviously two different things. To the owners of Gorilla Glue, I do apologize. You do have a good product, but I like Gorilla Glue weed. Thank you.
Right? Exactly. So I think possibly what happened to you, and I had kind of done something right before I met my soulmate. I had done a releasing ritual and I had actually done a lot of work on myself and trying to find that Samhain before that Beltane. I had done a releasing ritual to kind of let things go and work on myself, trying to find that love within myself. And I think that's kind of what happened to you when you did that spell to bind that person to you and then it crashed and burned. You really got down to a point where you were trying to build yourself back up and you then kind of went about it. You learned a lesson, and you then kind of went about it the right way. And instead of trying to force something, you're like, I want something that's good for me. I want something, a relationship that's going to be good for me and that person. And no fucking shit, that happened big time. And I think the universe is waiting for us to do that sometimes, to kind of do that work, to do that soul searching, whether it takes me being a crybaby for years and then finally working through that shit, or if it takes you crashing and burning in a bad relationship to learn that shit. However we learn that, we kind of need to focus on ourselves and what's good for us and not what we think we want, I guess.
And that's something that to kind of circle back to Litha, that's something good to work on in Litha, the light and dark within you and within your life, work on that inner balance. It is supposed to be the longest day of the year. Work on the heaviest light within you. It is that time to just take a minute. Where are you? Where do you want to be? You don't just reflect at the new year where you're at and where you want to be. You need to reflect that throughout the year if you want to make progress. That's where these little ticks in the wheel of the year come in. You might spend 6 weeks not thinking about you in stretches. Spend that one day, spend that one Sabbath, do some inner work. Think about your inner self for a few minutes, meditate, do what you do what makes you happy, but just do that little work. Everybody's got an hour.
And I love that too, that you brought it back to Litha, because this is the perfect time of year to do that. Litha gives you the time to do that because you're not working on planting something. You're not harvesting. This is the fullness. This is the ripeness. This is the time to slow down and enjoy the beach and take that time to kind of look within yourself and take stock of, like you said, the light and the dark parts of yourself and kind of, just take a little minute. We don't always like what we see. We're not always happy with that. And now can be a great time. Everything outside is so easy and full and sweet. Now can be an okay time to kind of clear out the cobwebs inside. It's bright enough outside to face the dark within a little bit, and it kind of can be comforting to take care of those things. Like we did a sweat and it was wonderful. Go into the dark and then come back out into the light of summer and kind of enjoy that nice long summer day.
Or, if you need to meditate on your troubles, meditating about your troubles while you're laying on the beach, it's not a downer. I'm just saying.
And meditating on your troubles while you're watching your joint smoke trail up into a nice blue sky definitely helps lighten the load.
And there's something about the stars this time of year. I don't know, maybe I just don't like being cold and I don't go out in the cold too much and look up. But I feel like this time of year, there are freaking stars everywhere. Just sitting outside at night and just looking up, some beautiful shit, man.
It's
Truly
gorgeous. Get out to a park, go camping. No matter where you are in the country, there's got to be someplace close to you where you can get outside in nature a little bit. Go up on the top of your building, see some stars. It's fabulous. We love it for Litha. It's so good. And I have a thing I want you to do, Chelle.
Okay, what?
It's a quiz.
Notice I don't even question you. I'm like, okay.
You're just like, okay, what? I love that. I love that so much about you. So this is a quiz. Nothing scary. It's to find out what goddess you are.
Okay.
So
ooh, I'm interested.
I did it earlier. So I'm going to give you the quiz and we'll see what goddesses we are. Okay.
Okay.
This quiz is from Soul and Spirit magazine and it's called Which Goddess Are You? So let's start off with the all essential crystals. Which one resonates with you the most, Chelle? Rose quartz, emerald, moonstone, or jasper?
Emerald.
Beautiful. I think I said moonstone. Now pick your favorite element. Air, fire, water, or earth.
Oh, this is so hard because in different aspects, I like them all.
I know this one's so difficult.
Shitty. I'm going to go with fire. Fire.
Which of these locations would you find yourself most at peace at? On a beach, watching a sunset fill the sky with beautiful hues of pink, yellow, and red. Deep within a forest, shrouded by a foggy mist. Sitting in a field, looking up at the full moon. Meandering through a desert with the sun beating down upon you.
Oh, why are these such hard choices?
They are. I want to do all of them.
Oh my God. The witch in me says the freaking foggy forest, damn it. But the beach is so hard. Beach, foggy forest.
They're both you. They're both
foggy
you. Which one?
Forest.
All right. Which would you say is your most desirable personality trait? Your huge heart and warm, loving personality. How down to earth and calm you are. I almost couldn't finish that with a straight face. My connection and understanding of animals, all creatures, great and small. How protective I am over my friends, family, and loved ones.
I'll go with the fourth one.
Yeah, protective. That's so you. Yes.
Are you trying to say I'm not meek and mild?
Oh, Chelle. Meek and mild have never been words anyone would describe you with. All right. What would you say is your least desirable personality trait? I'm sure you've got one. You have to think about it. All right. Is it your vanity and concern what others think of your appearance?
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes acting without thinking about how your actions will affect others?
Well, there's that.
Can you sometimes be a sore loser?
Occasionally.
Or your tendency towards a fiery temper?
Oh, boy. 2 and 4. Those are hard. I'd say I'd go with number 4, the fiery temper. We know how I can get.
We do. We know how you are, Chelle. We love it. You are the best advocate for the people that you love and causes you believe in. You are amazing for anything like that.
You need a bulldog on your side, man. I got you.
Right? You're right there. Okay. Which of these activities sounds the most fun to you? Ooh. Creating an apothecary of love potions filled with the most fragrant scents.
Ooh.
Right? See, this one was really hard. Walking around barefoot in nature in order to get back in touch with Mother Earth.
Nice.
Right? meditating under a sky filled with stars and a bright, glowing new moon.
I'd have to look and wouldn't be able to meditate, but okay.
Wait, a bright, glowing new moon?
The new moon is dark. How is
Right?
it glowing and bright?
Okay, I call shenanigans on this whole quiz, but we're
Okay.
going to say a bright, glowing full moon,
Okay.
dancing to let my mind, body, and soul feel free and uninhibited.
I don't know. I'm getting a little old and crickety.
I said all of them. I'm like, how do I pick all of these?
If I have to pick one, I'm going to be making potions.
Love that. Love that. All right. I just made some potions the other day. I made a batch of canna butter. All right, Chelle. Pick a spirit animal. A dove, cat, snake, or shark.
A kitty.
That's your animal for sure.
I love kitties.
Which sense is the most comforting to you out of the following? Smelling the gentle saltiness of sea mist, feeling the crunch of leaves underneath you as you walk through nature.
These are going to be hard choices, damn it.
Right? The sight of a sky full of stars, feeling the warm glow of the summer sun hitting your skin. So hard.
Warm glow, summer sun. If I couldn't pick the beach before, I have to pick something beachy now.
There you go. Okay, calculating your results, Chelle. Ooh,
Oh boy.
you,
Ooh.
my Chelle.
Who am I?
Pele.
No shit. Really?
No shit. Hawaiian mythology's volcano goddess Pele is an all-powerful deity and can be utilized. Utilize Pele? I don't think so.
No.
No.
She utilizes you.
Right. You can maybe work with her if she lets you for your own magic and spell work.
I don't know if you remember this, but that's kind of funny because I don't know, like maybe 20 years ago or so, we did a ritual and I actually embodied Pele for that ritual.
Yes, you did. Now, my goddess is Isis.
Oh, interesting.
A cult figure whose legend has survived thousands of years. Often referred to as the one who is all, Isis is a lunar deity also associated with magic and healing.
Now, I would just like to say that for everybody out there who thinks that magazine polls are a bunch of bullshit, normally I would agree with you totally. And they're usually just fun. But these were kind of spot on. These were like totally spot on calculations because knowing these goddesses and knowing how Laylla and I are, totally Pele and Isis, like no joke. That was spot on.
That works. And I do find it interesting that these are both goddesses that you and I have both called upon.
Exactly.
For a ritual, and I have not called on Pele, and I don't know. You may have called on Isis or Inanna. I'm not sure.
No, I think just in that chant, Isis, Inanna, Astarte, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Inanna again. Yeah, that's the only time ever. But yeah, no, the Pele thing, not a shocker.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Neither was Isis, actually. I was a little surprised, but thinking about it, that's pretty true to who I am right now. So,
and you know, that. The thing that's kind of funny is I actually changed my background on Zoom today, and it's a very like Pele type environment. That Hawaiian beach.
The summer solstice is a wonderful time to just sit back. Be good to yourself, I guess. Indulge yourself a little bit.
And play with the fae. Play with the fae. Don't forget that. They're fun.
Play with them nicely and make sure to dismiss them when you're done.
Treat them just like you would Santa Claus. Give them treats.
There you go. Give them. What the fuck was that?
My phone.
Oh God, that scared the hell out of me. If I get like one more EVP from your side of the freaking recording, I am going to lose my shit. I have two of them. I haven't looked them up, but I have two different EVPs from you. So the one still freaks me out. The dude answered scaffolding and it still trips me out.
Well, you got to remember, I am kind of in a very old location.
You are in Salem, Massachusetts, and I might have fae around me at this place I'm currently staying.
I got all kinds of shit around me.
You have all kinds of shit over there, so it does not surprise me. I'm not going to ask them to say something on the tape because I know they will, and that'll just make me shit bricks when I'm editing, so I'm not going to do it.
I do want to just point out, like some other things that are related to Litha. Things that I kind of get into a little bit. Colors. I'm big on colors. Sometimes you can just kind of acknowledge something or celebrate something with colors. So with Litha, like green and red and orange and yellow and white, like all those summery colors, if you act like the season, you'll feel the season. Does that make sense?
It really does.
Sunflowers, there's a crazy thing. Like I love sunflowers.
I love
Buy yourself a vase.
dandelions.
Yeah, go buy yourself a vase of flowers at like Trader Joe's or Price Chopper or Wegmans or Whole Foods. Get yourself a vase of flowers. Sometimes if that's all you can do, it is good enough.
I'm the asshole who loves dandelions. I would totally let dandelions grow in my yard
Oh, I totally would.
because I think they're fabulous.
And daisies.
And daisies. Yes, I am the wild yard person.
Daisies are considered a weed, and that has always kind of pissed me off on some weird level since I was a kid.
No, I have no problem with weed of any kind.
But the other thing that I'm kind of heavy on is stones, like crystals and stones.
Mm-hmm. I love your collection. Yet another collection of shells that we should go over sometime.
I have way too many collections, people. But like, I'll carry like an emerald or a jade or like a topaz or a citrine in my pocket or something. Just little things like that. Sometimes it's more about your intention than about, did you do some like big, elaborate, like high magic, dressed in robes ritual. Sometimes it is going to be as simple as chucking this little rose quartz in my freaking pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I'm going to talk about this more on our next weekly podcast, but we recently broke down in New Mexico, right near White Sands, actually.
I'm not laughing at you.
Oh, it's okay. No, go ahead and laugh. How's that song go? 100 bad days make 100 great stories.
Right?
It's so true. Anyway, there happened to be a labyrinth right near where we were. And at the center of this labyrinth were stones that had been printed with different words and phrases on them and stuff. And so just doing the labyrinth was an amazing meditative experience for me. But we took a stone, and I also bought this little turquoise bear, this little guy right here.
I like that.
He looks like he's a guy who's all packed up for traveling, right? He's this little turquoise bear, and he's got some turquoise, and I'm not sure if that's abalone or what that stone is, but
that's cool.
He looks like a little bear that's ready to go for travels, right? He called to me. I knew that this was my traveling bear. So we got this bear and the stone from the center of the labyrinth. And just like you said, those were our talismans for the rest of our trip to be safe. And it really was. From that point on, things really turned around and started to go in a better direction. I don't think that turquoise has anything to do with journeys. But the fact that he was a bear, a little turquoise bear, we're coming from California, which the symbol is the bear. And this one is packed up for a journey. Just those things were enough to tell me that this bear was my journey bear.
It wasn't necessarily about the type of stone it was carved out of. It was more about the intention of that stone.
And it was being open to that feeling. As I walked into this shop in the town that we were stuck in, he's tiny. He's about the size of a nickel. And he was the first thing that I saw on the shelf. And
out of a whole huge store.
Out of a whole huge store of beautiful, beautiful locally made items. This one sang to me, and I knew that I had to have him. And so being open to that energy and knowing that this was a talisman that I needed, regardless of what turquoise means. And what does turquoise mean anyway?
At that point in your trip, I can vouch for you. You needed a damn talisman.
I needed a freaking talisman. And people were asking me, they're like, what can we do for you guys? Is there something that we can do for you? And I said, send good travel energy. And I felt it. We felt it.
And we sent it.
We knew you guys definitely did that. So turquoise it balances and aligns your chakras. And it gives inner calm. And it helps to prevent panic attacks and depression. So I guess we kind of needed that at the time, but it dispels negative energy. So I guess you could say that for our trip, we needed negative energy dispelled, but he doesn't really have anything to do with travel. Turquoise doesn't have anything to do with that. So the intention was there because you could just see what it meant, and it worked. Right. Like you always say, the intention is really the purpose. It's really what you need to have that feeling. If you can align yourself, you can have your brain and your emotions aligned for an intention. That's the way things will go. Once you get all of that in alignment, things tend to go smoothly.
Intention is 90% of the battle, folks.
Yep.
Any parting wisdom on Litha? I say just sit at the beach, make flower crowns, call it a day.
Oh, I love the make flower crowns part. Definitely get outside. Get outside, try to do something. Go to a local farmer's market, but find something that has been crafted with intention, crafted with someone's hands that makes you happy, whether that be an eggplant that was grown by your local farmer or gorilla cookies grown by your local cultivator, or if it was a cute little piece of jewelry made by somebody. Find something that was locally crafted that kind of makes you feel good and makes you happy. I don't know the fuck where I'm going with this.
Does marijuana count?
Absolutely.
Because see, my marijuana here is grown locally, so technically I'm buying locally. So does that count?
It does. Totally does. Yeah. So I don't know. Just find something, get out and find something that makes you happy. Go for a walk, go to the woods. I don't know.
I think the key here is just remember to take a minute for yourself. Even if you only got 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you've got an hour or an afternoon or a whole day, rock on with your bad self. But if you've only got 10 or 15 minutes, even if you've got to go hide in the bathroom away from the kids, just take a few minutes and just kind of think about yourself, reflect on yourself for just a minute, or just take a minute to just breathe and appreciate what's around you in the moment.
I really like Litha for self-love. I love that you say that. Like we were talking earlier about doing love spells and people getting hand fasted, and this is a great time for that, but it's also a really good time to just pour that love onto yourself. Like you said, go to the beach because you love it. Go someplace that makes you happy. If that's the library, if that's a museum, if that's a cafe or a bar, I don't know, take some time for yourself, do that inner reflection, do a little meditation, get your nails done.
If you're in a big city, here's an idea. Take yourself out for a date. Go out and have a damn drink and something to eat by yourself. No shame in going out by yourself. Go out and treat yourself.
Whether you're in a relationship or not, take some time for you, especially if you're in a relationship. Take some time to love on you and just kind of enjoy the slow downness. We work too damn hard. A lot of us have side hustles. We have 2 jobs. We're taking care of a house and kids and a relationship and a job or school. We're taking care of all these things and we forget to take care of ourselves. Take a little time for you. Do something that you love, be happy in yourself. Slow down.
And just remember, technically it's the first day of summer. How can that be bad?
It is the first day of the rest of summer. I love that. And there's so much, it's just stretching out. Hopefully, maybe this summer will be like the summers when we were kids. Do you remember summer when we were kids when it seemed to stretch out for a million years? It was just so big and there was just a perfect time to be lazy and ride your bike and just do fun things. And summer felt like it was never going to end.
Yeah, but I didn't have to work then. I have to work now. That's the biggest difference.
But I hope everybody gets at least one day that's just wonderful and fulfilling and where you feel happy and you can just kind of enjoy it for yourself. So for Litha, what I hope for you is abundance and I don't know, lots of love, lots of weed, happiness.
Just be happy, just be warm, think of yourself, and I don't know, buy a double chocolate chip muffin that day.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh, the stoned witches say you have permission. I say buy that top shelf weed and smoke it all yourself. It's yours. Go for it. Get that good that you haven't gotten.
Everybody, we want you to stay high, stay witchy, and happy Litha, everyone.
Happy Litha, and we'll see you next time on the Stoned Witches Hour.
Peace out.
Later.